Welcome. This podcast episode is going to be about networking. Specifically, is networking not working? Some people are saying. So let's just jump straight in and talk about what I think is going on with networking. Now, there's lots of reasons why people go networking. You literally probably could have 101 reasons why anyone would go to a networking event. What was the intention? What was their intentions? Why are they going? And so on. And literally, and everyone has their own reason. But there are some core reasons why I think lots of people go. But I want to talk about three reasons why I think networking is in some ways dead, but not completely. And why it's still, there's also why it can still be alive for some people. So specifically, the first thing is that my experience when I've been to networking events is that you might go and meet people. There's a mixed group possibly in attendance, a random mix, shall I say, of different people. Not necessarily people that are all your target market or people that you can partner with. And you end up having lots of random conversations. Now, in my experience, that these can often be fake. It often feels a bit contrived, not very authentic. And I think that's not because anyone's maybe intentionally doing that. I just think that's just the nature of the environment sometimes. And yeah, I think it can be a bit forced. So I think for me, that just is a big reason why people get put off. So people go to networking events and they often question why they went in the first place. And I'm pretty sure if you've been to a networking event or you've been to multiple networking events over the years, I'm sure you will have had those experiences. Now, for some people, I know some people well who religiously go to networking events and they have been for years, and they're massive advocates of going to networking events or networking generally. So I'm not those people is probably not for you, but in terms of the general person who goes to a networking event, I think often people find that it was either a waste of time, really awkward and clumsy from both themselves and from the people they spoke to. So again, I think for me it's just a bit fake, a bit false, and that sort of puts people off. So when people say is networking dead, because of that fakeness or that falseness that people experience, yeah, I think it's a reason not to go, because I think that's not the way anyone wants to be. In terms of, I think, selling, I've been to networking events, and obviously some people are very set. So let's say, for example, I make furniture, and whoever I talk to, I'm pretty much going to pitch them in that networking event my business. Now, that's just a waste of time, because if you talk to me and I run a block management company, I'm not going to be your ideal customer. And even if I know someone, I don't want to listen to a pitch. So within 20, 30 seconds, if you start pitching to me at a networking event, I'm just getting a bit bored. Now, now it's okay if you said to me, look, I just want to practice my pitch, and do you mind if I just give you a sort of 1 minute pitch on what I do? I'd go, yeah, no worries. I'd be totally up for listening and totally wanting to give you feedback. And to me, that would be really valuable. But what I find is some people go with a set idea in their head and they say whatever they're going to say, which might be pitching their business or service. And it's irrelevant to who you're talking. It's not relevant, shall I say, to who you're talking to. So again, to me, there's too much selling that goes on, or attempts to sell, shall we say, at networking events. And again, that just makes it feel like I don't want to go, or it doesn't feel right, or it can be a waste of time. So for me, number two, too much selling. The other reason why I think why networking in some ways might be a bit dead is that people so we have conversations. So let's talk about, again, the furniture guy and I'm the property guy. There's maybe no connection. And we do this kind of exchange of let's stay in touch. And people want to share business cards regardless of whether we're actually ever going to contact. Because in their head, they think, now we've spoken, we must connect, we must share our details. And again, I don't see the point. Yes, it's nice sometimes you have really good conversations with people, and so on. But it doesn't mean we must share each other's details, and it doesn't mean that we should try and stay in touch. Because let's be honest, you walk out the event, you don't stay in touch, you put the business card in the bin. So again, it doesn't feel right. And I just think people are doing this over and over again. And I just think, it supports this idea that networking's dead, in my view. So I think they're three big enough reasons. There's others, but for me, they're three big enough reasons on why networking face-to-face at events sometimes is a bit dead or might not be working, as some people are saying networking is not working. But again, if I look at, from my point of view, the flip side to all of that, the flip side is quite simple. You know, when you go to a networking event, you just have to be you. And I know that sounds like the most obvious thing in the world, is to say be yourself. But you've got to do it shamelessly and not be afraid that the real you is not maybe going to be liked. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, so when you go to a network event, if you're going to do anything, it's just be authentic, be yourself. And if no one likes you, or you feel that you're not well received when you talk to people, it doesn't matter. You can't bend, twist, adapt and be someone else at an event, but then outside of the event, you're a different person. So I think, you know, first and foremost, if you're going to a networking event, be yourself, be confident in your own skin and who you are, and don't worry about what people think of you, and just accept in your head that not everyone's going to like you. It's a fact, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not going to, everyone you talk to, go, God, what a lovely guy, what a lovely lady, she was amazing, or he was fantastic, oh my goodness, I so want to keep in touch and I want to recommend him to this person. That's not going to be the reaction you get from everyone. And you just have to accept that you don't need that reaction, and you don't need people's affirmation in that scenario to make you feel good about yourself, because it's irrelevant. So be you, whatever that is, shamelessly be you, yourself, and be the most authentic you can be in that event without it being a bit weird, because let's be honest, going to a networking event is a bit weird for lots of people, or a bit strange. Secondly, stop trying to sell people stuff, whether that's your business or service, for no reason, especially if there's no connect. So what you need to try and do is, you know, if I spoke to like the furniture guy, I can think, well, how can I help him for free? Business-wise, we might not be able to do anything. We might not be able to do anything. But if I like them and they like me, I'm thinking in my head, how can I help you? Now, that might only be in the next 5 minutes. So in my head, he might be telling me something about his business, and I might have an idea, and I think, right, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to share it. That's how I could help him. So it's not about how can I help him forever and the rest of the life of his business, but I could help him there and then in conversation. An idea could come to my mind. But even if it's beyond that conversation, think about how you can help the person you're talking to for free, with nothing to come back to you. Okay, so you have to be prepared to give something away for free, whether that's time, whether that's your ideas. If I'm not saying you must, but I'm saying if you're thinking of doing anything, that's what you should be thinking, not how can I position my business and how can I sell you my service or business. So that's just a wrong way of thinking. You've got to be thinking, how can I help you, create some value for you with nothing, no check, no contract, nothing coming back. Okay, and I think if you create that goodwill, or that, you know, you're doing something of value for someone and you're putting that into the world, you don't always get directly back. You've got to be prepared to put stuff out into the world, and that's it. And that's just a one-off, one-way transaction, and it doesn't mean a direct transaction is coming back to you from that person. Okay, so you've got to be thinking when you meet people at networking events, how can I help you for free? And you might not be able to help them. So let's just say you talk to the person who's got a completely different industry, there isn't anything that comes to your mind, that's fine. I'm not saying you must help this person that you talk to. What I'm saying is, if you are, think of how can you do it for free? How can you create some value for that person for free? The third thing is I think just be creative, you know, in terms of staying in touch. Don't think let's exchange business cards and let's stay in touch even though there's no real purpose to it. Most of the time it's just about creating connections, people that are maybe similar minded or have a similar point of view, or not, but someone that you connect with. So sometimes you might speak to someone at a business event and it doesn't matter that the businesses don't really connect, but as a person to person you have this great connection. Now that is valuable. And that's maybe worth, sometimes, it's not very often, it's like outside of business, you don't probably often meet people where you go, right, I've really connected with that person on a level that, you know, made you feel good and you felt like, you know, there's something else to this, we should stay in touch. So make sure that that's there. Don't make it up. If it's not there, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get this with everybody you talk to. But when it is there, don't say to them, yeah, let's stay in touch because of X, Y, and Z. Just say, look, it was really nice talking to you. I think we connected really well. And look, it'd be great to stay in touch and share our details. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll meet up and have a coffee or something like that. Keep it low key. You don't have to be set in your head what that is. Maybe in 6 months, 12 months, that person or you'll come to a conclusion on why you should stay in touch. So just to cap it off, networking is not dead, and it just needs to be done right. Okay, thanks for listening. I'm out.